For a minute or two? How you feeling today?
I'm good, baby. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
You look good.
Well, thank you. You look good too,
Yeah,
Mr. Winter.
I'll do for old person. Yep.
I'm always preening and pruning.
Yeah, you are. You think about. Let's see. Make sure everything's down.
Did you get your videos lined up? Get all that out the house and get it all lined up? Because when you don't have all that stuff lined up.
Yeah, I still got a little more about the system, but.
Then you got your videos online?
Mm-hmm.
You sure?
Yeah.
We went through this already a little
Okay.
bit, so we just trying to make sure everything is lined up. And think, look, do we have? Is that one guest us right now, huh?
Yes, us.
So I didn't know that either. So we're learning.
We're learning.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Show you the one guest, which is us.
Still waiting for people to show up.
Come on, people.
Come on, peoples.
We would love it.
Yeah, we would.
Yep. But at the same time, we can still talk to
Oh,
each
yeah.
other. if
Yeah,
not.
we can.
And you guys can just see
Yes.
it later
Yeah.
because if that doesn't happen. But because we know we're new,
Yep.
we understand that, and we're hoping that one day you will join us.
Monday.
One day,
Mm-hmm.
maybe sooner than later, but
Let's see
it's
if I
all
can do
good.
some bidding. I don't think. Okay. Well, let's get started.
Well, you sure didn't wait long. That was 1 minute.
Okay, I'll give them another minute.
Just let's say 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes. We give
Just
everybody
5 more
time to
minutes.
show up.
Yeah.
Anybody who's gonna show up, we will welcome you.
That's right. Yeah, because you're still working on your little things
Little
there.
issues.
Yeah, get them issues out the way so we don't have to go back. Because see, he can't use that as an excuse. If we make him get the issues out the way now, then we don't have to worry.
Yep.
Gary's not good though.
And then when you get back over, you have to see your face on that screen when you're done.
No device not found.
Said it don't know where I'm at.
See?
Internal range. Okay. So what we'll do is get rid of.
Not me.
No, not you. You can never get rid of you.
Okay.
You're valuable. You're my diamond.
All right. See, if you would have started, you wouldn't have done this, right?
I wouldn't have done this. I was
Yeah.
working on it in the
Yeah,
office, but
See, I'm checking now. I'm becoming his tech.
she
person.
checking me out.
I'm checking the tech person, so I'm the check techer.
Yeah.
No, that was a tongue twister. I'm a techer checker.
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 Tech
Texter.
checker.
Because also you have the volume, because remember you said one time the volume wasn't on?
Right.
So is the volume on?
The volume is on.
Okay, what else we got here?
Yeah. Let's see here. Levels are up. Yeah. So this is us here, and then when I bring in like Paul Gauchi's demonstration, I'll just turn that down for a little bit. So when I bring him in, I'll bring him in smoothly.
Gotcha.
And since the speaker doesn't want to talk to me today,
The speaker's not talking to you today?
I'm
What's
talking
up with the speaker?
I'm gonna fire him.
Don't fire the speaker. So I think you got it in there. I think
Oh,
you-
I got one more adjustment to make, but
Oh,
they won't
good.
see it. Yeah, they
No,
won't.
make that adjustment. I want him to make all of his adjustments.
All of them, huh?
Because see, he gets busy over there, then all of a sudden he just flies to the south and he leaves me and said,
Oh, I don't want to leave the queen.
no. When Queen making sure today you don't leave her.
So what we'll do is turn off this to. That's right. Now we'll be able to.
See, these are all bloopers, but we don't mind sharing them with y'all.
Nah.
Y'all family, okay?
Yeah, we are.
They family.
Yeah, y'all family.
That's right. You can see all of the stuff that hides that's behind the camera.
We don't have like just a blooper run.
Because he wants to get comfortable with that. No,
Oh no.
we're not going there.
No, we don't want to do that. Well, I think that
So I don't see that little thing that was here that says all of the information. So where's that at? I just saw it. Okay.
Oh, that there. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can
okay.
make this a little
There it
bigger.
is. It's good right there. Just wanted
This
to
is sharing the screen. So
make, you don't have to share it. It was good
I
right
don't.
there, right the way you had it. There you go.
yeah.
So we're about to start now.
Let's start.
Let's start. We want to say welcome back.
Welcome
Yes. To our.
back to Eden Urban Homestead.
That's right. We're still here. We're still doing the same thing in our urban homestead.
We're doing our thing, y'all.
Yes, we're doing all of our things, and today we're going to be talking about winter.
Right. Winter trimming for spring abundance.
Winter trimmings, which is pruning. Clip, clip, clip,
Exactly.
for spring
Spring
abundance.
abundance,
'Cause
right.
we want to bring about a lot of abundance this year.
Right.
You know, so we're trying all of the techie things that we missed some of the years before, or we just kind of handled it in a real quick way. This
Right.
time, I guess, as we've matured in our age and our gardening, we're kind of trying to do things that are a little bit more on top.
Right.
You know, instead of being at the bottom and running through and wondering how we scarcely made it in. Ooh, that was biblical too.
It was
We don't want to
biblical.
scarcely make it in anymore.
Not scarcely.
No, we're trying to get in there all the way and do as much as we can instead of the least amount. So, with that being said, is it okay to prune in the winter in February?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And that is, in fact, is the most opportune time that you need to go ahead and prune.
Great.
Right.
Great.
Yeah. So.
Later is better.
Yeah.
But in the winter is good because the plants need to be pruned, and I guess there's a lot of good reasons. One thing would be
To stimulate growth.
there's no pest.
Exactly. No pests.
No pest. That's for me.
Right.
Woo! No pests.
No pests at all.
And the good thing about that is the plants are dormant.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? You're at the least time for pathogens.
Right.
And even though you can injure the trees if you don't cut them the correct way because they may not
Exactly.
heal as properly, but this is probably the most opportune time in zone. We're zone.
We're 9A and B.
Yes. So we're kind of particularly trying to focus on that a little bit more. So, but we'll talk about other areas too. But that pruning is so necessary because been finding out so much information about our trees that we've been trying so hard on.
Right.
Yeah, we got some trees that didn't do well, and we were just trying to get to the bottom of it. And besides having bad soil caliche here in Las Vegas and
Right.
things of that nature, you know, and then we have these beautiful fast springs that last maybe how long?
Spring here lasts maybe 2 months.
Not even, come on. That you're giving it
Well,
a
I'm
lot
being
of
generous.
credit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, because we start with winds and everything else in the spring, but our spring is kind of, it's like, it's weird.
It is. It's
You know,
short.
It's short and it's windy. It's not really, you know, you want to say spring because it starts March 21st and you're happy, but it's windy.
Yeah, I think you
Coolish.
get up to April, end of April, into June, first week of June, spring's over. Spring's over with.
Yeah, your spring season is over with. So whatever you're going to do, you need to do it.
And that's here in Southern Nevada.
Yes, you
Yeah.
need to do it now. So why do we prune our plants? What was, for me, what do you think what was the main reason? Because it's,
Well,
you know, it's a
one,
lot of reasons.
one, you cause the plant to grow more in abundance,
Okay,
to give back more.
okay,
And
That's good.
And that's the spiritual reason behind that.
okay.
And I think it's in John 5 where Yahshua talks about, you know, that he prunes us.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
and so a lot of times in our life, we don't realize the things that happen in our life. We're being pruned to stimulate more growth.
Right.
And-
Removal of the dead,
You know
or
why?
dying branches, the things that's dead in our lives and our minds and our spirit, taking off the old.
And bringing in the new. Because
right.
when Yahshua healed the man that had blind sight, he asked the man, "How do you see?" And he said, "I see men as trees." See?
Wow.
And so that's why we bring that in, segue in, that we get pruned in our life. And so
Right.
the trees that are in our life also need pruning so that they can bring back more fruit in abundance.
Right.
Whether it's flowers or your vegetable plants need pruning to open up air and allow air in.
Right. I didn't even realize that, you know, when the trees, the branches cross.
Right.
And they're rubbing against each other.
Exactly.
That also allows, if you have a tree that's been injured, it allow diseases and pestilence.
Right.
I never thought
Allow
about
the
that. You know, I
fruiting of
hear
the tree.
the tree.
They have to
the
come
leaves
off so you can
sometimes
avoid
screeching
that.
up against
So
the
if you can
house,
look through here, you can
when
see
we
how
haven't
many of
pruned
those
them back,
branches
and you're
need
like,
to
oh,
come
you know,
off
I need to just cut
so
that
that they
back.
can
It's
look
for more reasons than it just
more
being
like-
an annoyance.
It's for growth.
It's for growth, for stimulation to do what to grow in the correct way.
Right.
So, you know, that's that's something else too. And pruning also opens up the canopies.
Exactly.
You know, so that air light, that filtered air light and air and light and sunlight can get in.
Exactly.
We have a lot of big trees. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. We have, what is it, 3 back there now? 3 sumacs,
We have
3.
4 total.
We had 4, but we got rid of, well, we still have 4. We had 5, but we got rid of one of them for our greenhouse. But we like them because they overshadow the grass area in a nice way. And it helps to make sure that our lawns and stuff stay really nice and green in such a hot, scorching area, so they
Right.
don't get burned, like as opposed to our front yard.
That's right.
That would get burned because we don't have huge trees out.
Right.
But at the same time, do those need pruning? The sumacs, do they need pruning as well?
The sumacs too. In fact, we've had pruned these sumacs. We've been here 8 years, going on 9.
Yeah.
And every year our landscaping landscaper comes in, and he prunes those trees. One, to open up so we have a green lawn back there, which actually helps keep the heat down. So
Right.
and it feeds the roots of the plants. Sumacs, typically roots are close to the surface.
Yeah, they are.
So with
They
that
really are.
grass there and all the nitrogen that's in the grass, it helps actually promotes the growth of the sumacs. In fact, they're more healthier than it was when we first moved here in 2017, where they were actually dying because
Right.
they had that barrier cloth over it.
Oh yeah, we
Yes.
got rid of all of that. So you would agree that pruning opens up the tree canopies.
It does,
and
immensely.
and increases the airflow to light for the stems and the branches. So basically, that's what we have. Those are kind of like our shade sails that that's the feature for the whole backyard.
Right.
They kind of cover, but at the same time allow sunlight and. You know, there's all different types of pruning, and I think my husband's going to show you a clip from Paul Gauchi because he's a master. He's at pruning, and just to show you the types of pruning, because I want to talk about that. And before we go into it, you know, everybody has a different pruning style.
Right.
Everyone is important to me, and some are even more important. But he made some really good points, and he was saying about the trees serving you.
Right.
You know, because we allow our trees to get so tall. And I remember our trees being huge and tall as a child, and I could never reach the apricots and things that were up high. We could get the low ones, but our family members, and we had poles to shake them. But he has a good point, and I think you want to probably show that video.
Let me bring that up.
Yeah,
And
we love his videos. Paul Gauchi is a master gardener. He's excellent, and he's in Seattle.
Seattle, Washington.
Yeah, not Seattle. I shouldn't say that. It's a little town right outside of Seattle. But
Right.
if they look at they can look him up, and you can put the information in there on the links below too.
I can do that.
Yeah.
So let me, before I get started, because when I bring this level up, we'll just.
Yeah, and he prunes all of his trees. I'm not sure if he's still doing that. I haven't looked at his latest videos. He doesn't make videos that often. A lot of people go out and they do documentaries on him.
Right.
He is disabled as well. My husband,
Vet.
yeah, Vet, has talked to him, and I have too on numerous occasions. A wonderful guy. Very, very, very humble,
Yeah.
spiritual, close. You can tell he's centered and close to his Creator at
Yes,
all
he is.
times. Everything he does is about that.
And which is really what the gardening is supposed to be about.
Absolutely. But, you know, actually our name triggered, we were saying Back to Eden, but we said our Back to Eden when he saw him because I didn't want to interfere.
Right.
We didn't want to interfere with that because with all humility, he has the true Back to Eden garden.
Yes, he does.
I have never seen a garden this beautiful in all of the U.S. states.
Yes.
The way that the care and also the meaning behind it.
Right.
Everything that goes along, that should go along with it as far as we're concerned.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Let me go ahead and show that clip. If I can start my
So
phone.
thankful to be able to do it because it's a gift that I have, and it's just something that's just so pleasing and so
Did
pleasurable.
we get his voice too?
You know, it's interesting that the scripture talks about pruning. There in John 15, Jesus is saying that I am the
Yes, John
vine and you are the
15.
branches. My Father is the husbandman. He's the one who maintains and cares for it all. And it goes on to say that he prunes the trees for what purpose? So they'll bear more fruit. And I love these things about God because they're so much
we're not
bigger
getting
than
his
I. When I
voice.
try to figure that out, it makes no
we haven't
sense. If I'm
worked that
cutting
one
a
out
tree
yet.
and
No, I
taking
haven't worked
branches
that one
off,
out yet.
it would make sense to me from a mathematical point of
Well,
view.
as
I'm
we can
reducing
see,
its
we can
capacity
tell
to
you,
bear
I guess,
fruit.
and if you
But
have
God
to,
is saying he prunes,
look at his videos.
so it'll bear more fruit. And it's just this incredible, beautiful illustration
It
of
says
God, how
iPhone
his whole
mute, so
principle
should you check
is in
that?
giving you receive.
should.
And so
This
taking
music.
stuff out of it and it's giving of itself, that process develops it and strengthens
So
it
with
and
him,
encourages
the way
it
that
to
he
produce more
prunes his
fruit.
trees,
And in my experience,
he
I
prunes
totally
them.
see
Look
it.
at
People
how
will come to
they're
my
all facing downward.
Now, he's caused his trees to bend down because he
Yes.
wouldn't allow them to grow up high.
Yeah.
So
But there's a technique that he does, and he bends them, and he'll bend those limbs. Now, mind you, because all of
Over
those limbs
time.
are very, very, they're flexible.
Right.
And, if you go out and you bend one of the limbs on your trees that has the cambion, is
Right.
that it?
Yeah.
And it's in the way that he makes these progressions, you'll have to watch one of his videos. It's amazing. But he allowed those trees, and so now his trees grow, and they grow like an umbrella. They grow down.
Exactly.
And all of the fruit is there in abundance, and they produce so much. And the other thing that I really liked about his gardening technique is that you can continue to play that.
okay.
Yeah, is that he doesn't leave a lot of branches on there. And they'll tell you something about that in saying, and as a gardener or
Here,
master
this time of
gardeners
year, and you
or
can't even walk through it,
arborists,
and they'll come-
different
Yes.
people
prune
that
it
do
in
this, they'll say you need to
January,
leave so many. But the way that he does it, he gets abundant fruit. Look at that. The way that those
Trees
trees
all
are
bowed down
all
to him.
bowed down. He says, man is in charge, and he put us in charge over the garden.
Right.
He didn't let the garden be in charge of the man.
Exactly.
So this principle was so like, wow, how come I didn't think about that? And
So-
it's something that we should think about, because you don't want your garden ever, we don't have to allow our gardens to outgrow us. People say, I don't garden because of this. This man literally has a disability that he may not even be walking, but most of the time he's laying or walks with a double canes. My
right.
husband has canes too, and shares that was the motivation for him too, is to continue, because this man also was affected in the military by Agent Orange, I
Right.
think. And he gardens, and he will lay there and he has a walking stick, but he has everything, and he likes to do it himself, from planting potatoes under the trees.
Yes.
And there's a reason for everything. So when you get involved and start to watch him, you're gonna excuse me, you're gonna hang on to every word that he says,
Right.
because every word is that valuable and powerful and biblically based.
Yes.
That's the amazing part. But yeah, those trees, the way he did those trees were amazing. So we have some videos too that we've now, my husband can show you, that we did have our landscapers to do the first round
Right.
of cutting and pruning our trees. Now, this was an important round because we got rid of a
What
lot
happened
of
to your trees? Are naked. I mean,
I
what'd
would
you
say
do to them?
tall,
Says,
the
"We'll come back
tallest,
in
the height
September.
in the trees.
They'll-
We wanted
they'll
to
be all
take that
touchy,
down.
And
The
then
branches
just
that may
basically,
intrude,
make room for
because
them
we're
to fit in,
urban
and they just
homestead,
produce
so that means
heavily
we're in a
every-
community
it's
with
amazing how
HOAs
much
and all
comes
of the
out.
above.
Right.
We had
They
things
come
that
right
would take
back
out,
and,
that we needed to
produce
take out on the
tremendously.
perimeter,
And
that
I'm
would
finding, I always
interfere
tell
with our
people, is if you
neighbors'
want a tree to grow,
homes, because,
the
a
most
lot of,
fiddling
most of our
thing you can do
neighbors
to it is
have
cut it.
pools. They don't have
Cutting it will-
gardens.
will waste
This
surpass
is a pool
fertilizing,
community
watering,
that people
anything
love
else. Nothing
pools. There's a lot
compares
of
to
greenery,
the
but
effect of
the
pruning.
ideal is a pool and a lot of concrete. So we have to make sure that we don't interfere with what their private spaces and have leaves and foliage coming in. So we want to make sure that we get in there and prune early enough that we can see everything.
Right.
And our landscapers, my husband doesn't do any of that because of his disabilities, he can't. But we make sure that the landscapers that we hire are like us, and they realize that, and so they'll prune several times. They still have to prune some on the sumacs.
Right.
But we were more concerned with our fruiting trees right now, because
right.
there's really a time limit on that, because what we're trying to do is get abundance. And with that getting more abundance, this pruning should be done now.
Right.
Not later. And so that airflow is important. The gardening is important. Did you already show the videos of our?
I'm going to do that right now.
So as he's showing you those videos of our garden, well, this is actually not the garden. It's just the perimeter of our backyard space. It's so important. So I think we got all of the trees, the fruiting trees, including our nut trees, and got those pruned as far as height is concerned. But my husband and me
this
are
is
looking
our
now at the smaller ones, which I will be going in.
Black
And
Mission
he's
fig.
kind of like the director. We're just kind of cultivating each one of those trees individually now, to give it another haircut, to give it that look. That fig tree looks great. Something that we were told and we realized too, you should never have more branches, little small branches,
Right.
then, because the more that you have, then that means that's where all the energy is going to go.
Exactly.
So if you have 100 branches, you want to decrease that to maybe like 75, because once again, you want to have that airflow that you need, and you don't want all that energy trying to go and put out fruit
Right.
on all those branches. You want your fruit to be juicy and divine and full and big and not tight. We've had some fruit, and we got fruit on our trees, but it was really tight,
Right, they were.
very tight. The first year we got a lot of apricots in abundance, and they were nice. And then the next year we didn't get anything, but I found out some of the apricot trees produce every other year.
Okay.
We have a Mormon apricot tree, so I want to make sure this year, if it is a year for orchard fruit, that we have enough, air to go through there and not too many leaves. It was the most beautiful tree in the springtime and summer because it was so full. It looked like an evergreen, but we're not trying to produce leaves. We're trying to produce fruit.
Right, exactly.
So we have to be careful of our methods and what our motives are and what is our gain. The sumacs,
right, that's right.
yeah, the sumacs are our trees for shade. So we want the most abundance of shade that we need to overshadow the plants and the shrubberies that's necessary for our garden and our lawn. But then our fruit trees we want them to be able to produce more fruit than anything.
Exactly, yeah.
And we want that fruit to be juicy in abundance. And I would rather have 5 big apples than to have 20 tight apples,
Right,
you know?
of
So you
course,
start
yeah.
realizing what is the means of it. So right now, those are the things we were focusing on in our Back to Eden garden.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing, even with our pistachio tree, we've never gotten fruit, and I think this is the year. Because yes, we did. We got one,
Got 3 or 4.
3 or 4,
Yeah.
but we took them off because we realized it's just now starting. But we really want to make sure if it's time for our flowering pistachio tree to give us fruit, we want to get the most in abundance. So we want to decrease anything that we can.
You want me to run that clip?
Yes,
for me?
please.
Okay. All right.
So while he's running that, getting that ready, I'll talk about the deciduous trees. Okay, and shrubs. There's a lot of different trees that you can do. I'm not really into the ones that are not fruiting, but I can say right now is the time that you can plant. You can prune anything from a maple, an oak, crab apples, hawthorn.
Ash.
Yes.
Butternut.
Right.
And walnut.
Right. There's a list of them, and you can look them up. But all of these, this is the time. If you're wondering, should I be pruning? Yeah.
Yeah,
You should
right
be.
now.
This is the time.
And typically November is the best time to start pruning.
Well, yeah, but they said the winter is even better because sometimes they don't die. Because we think about November, sometimes in Las Vegas, it's
You're
still
right.
warm.
You're right.
So they
Yeah.
said that February is definitely the prime time. Because if it's still warm, that means that sap is still running.
Not January, February.
February was the prime month.
Okay.
February. Evergreens like spruce, they rarely need to be pruned, but if you're going to prune them, you can do it lightly. The evergreens, you just kind of shake them up. They don't grow that fast.
Right.
And so you don't have to really worry about it. But if you were going to do that, now the ones that you're not going to prune at this time would be things that flower.
All right.
Your little flowering plants, lilacs, things of that nature. You're not going to prune them now. This
Okay.
would definitely not be the time to do those. So that's what you don't want to do.
Right.
You want
Because you
to
hit the
concentrate.
growth of the flower.
Absolutely. And if you do that, then what happens is you don't have any flowers. You're not going to have what you're desiring to get
There'll be infant flowers.
that's going to be fewer blooms.
Right,
You're not going to
exactly.
get as many blooms coming in the spring, and you waited all that time to have this big, beautiful, but you trimmed them, so
Right.
you won't get that. Yeah, there's a lot of little things in between that you have to figure out and say, well, you know what, these are not vegetables, these are perennials.
Okay.
But the main thing, the most important thing is to remember this is the time.
Right.
Winter's the time for you to do your trees.
Right.
And fruit trees for sure if you want luscious fruit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's run this.
Okay.
So our gardeners or landscapers came up and cut the
So
tree
as you
back
can see
from
how
over the wall
open
of our neighbors.
our mission
Although our neighbor
fig
really
is
doesn't
that
mind
it
because
allows
eventually he
trees
can
to
eat some
get
figs.
plenty of air,
But the point
space
is
where the tree can
that the
fruit
tree now
without
can
being
breathe.
crowded by a lot of branches within close
So you will
proximity
get
of their
increased
fruiting,
growth of fruits
fruiting
because the tree
fig.
now has been made
So
healthy because
you
now
have
it can
plenty of
get air in between.
so our landscapers
allowing
came
the fruit
over
to
and
grow,
cut back the
much
branches that were over
more
our
efficiently.
neighbors'
Now,
wall.
over
I
here,
want
I've already
my husband to stop it for
showed-
a minute because I want to go back. Can you go back and show that tree again?
Yes.
And the reason why I have something to say. Right behind there,
Mm-hmm.
there is an ashwagandha bush. Now, most people grow ashwagandha as a perennial, really small, and because we use the roots. As an herbalist, I use the roots, and I do use the leaves too, as well as the berries. But we let this one grow into a bush, and it's right by a grapevine. So, in the comments, if there's anyone that knows anything, this bush has grown for the last 4 years.
Yes.
So, obviously I haven't tried to pull it out because it's my mother tree, I call it, and I take clippings and I'll start other ashwagandha or either the seeds. But for me, my question is on the pest that we have received. We didn't have any the first few years, then all of a sudden I read up about it too. There's a strange beetle that comes out. And I'm not sure if the jadam is going to work on it, but if anybody has any suggestions, or if you've ever had your ashwagandha to grow into a huge bush and leave it, I would love for you to be able to give us some information on how do you maintain it, or do you just continue to let it grow? Because we've let ours grown for now, like I said, maybe 4 years,
Oh,
3 or
long
4
that
years.
would be here
4.
9 years, I think.
Well, maybe even longer. And again, it comes back every year beautifully, and it blooms out just like the Concord grapes next to it. And the only thing is the last 2 to 3 years we've had a pest, this little beetle, which they are, I guess,
Voracious.
yes. And this beetle, we never had it before, so I guess it found out that we had this ashwagandha. Maybe that's the reason they don't keep it. But if there's any information, anyone wants to make a comment, we would love to hear about it and see what you think about that ashwagandha, and you can continue.
Okay.
Okay, this is our Black Mission fig.
Yeah,
So
that prune tree is looking so good. I like the way that looks.
our gardeners or landscapers came up and cut the tree back from over the wall of our neighbors. Although our neighbor really doesn't mind, because the benefit is he gets to eat some figs. But the point is that the tree now can breathe.
Yeah.
So you will get increased growth of fruits, because the tree now has been made healthy, because now it can get air in between, allowing the fruit to grow much more efficiently. Now over here, I've already showed that this tree, see all these small limbs? They have to come off. You just want main branches left, see? And these main branches you save, but these little branches, they take the energy out of the fruiting of the tree, so they have to come off, so you can avoid that. So if you can look through here, you can see how many of those branches need to come off, so that it can look more like this fig tree.
Love
So
it.
what's going to happen is I'm going to show you actually as I'm pruning a tree, so that you can see how pruning is supposed to be appropriate, especially during this time of the year. So while I'm bringing that one up, and I'm doing that now, I want to go ahead and run that clip also.
There we go.
So,
Flesh, like that.
and there's a difference in the type of pruning shears you need. There are bypass shears, and I think the bypass shears are used for limbs that are about 4 inches. I couldn't find my bypass shears, so I'm going ahead and using these shears to go ahead and make an example on how you should prune these small limbs off your trees that are sapping up the energy, the life force, causing your fruit to either be tight or non-existent at all. So it's just a short clip.
You can see again, there's so many, and you're saying there's so
Mm-hmm.
why bother them, because you want
Right.
to get love and abundance,
Exactly.
and again, abundance comes.
Mm.
You do
From
what you're
pruning.
doing, from pruning.
Just like our lives.
I'm so just ecstatic
Mm-hmm.
because we actually have not rush
Exactly.
to do the jobs that we need to do,
Mm-hmm.
which is definitely a time.
Yes, it is. Definitely is. Yeah. Right.
Priorities change. And stuff.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And make it flush. That's the way the sap comes out of the trees.
Take some, we'll take the lower ones, and I'll take some more, and again, we'll be going back to this now.
Right.
We'll move on to the next job. But question for you again. What is your favorite, I guess your favorite style of gardening, of pruning? I love Paul Gauchis, and we haven't gotten to that. We might even try maybe this year one experiment
Right.
to start bending those branches
Yes.
to see how that would be. And I would probably say the I would think the fig tree. Would you like to try the fig,
Fig
tree
tree,
maybe?
yes.
Just because that one grows it grows very fast.
Yes,
I think it's the fastest growing one that we have out there as far as
it is.
being the height. But we cut it this year.
Right, we did.
But maybe now we can start maybe taking a branch at a time
And bending it.
and bending it
Right.
out to see how that goes, and you guys can kind of follow along with to see how that works out.
I can go back over the Paul Gauchi one if you want.
Oh, did
Your
you want to
voice?
look at that
Yeah.
and see that?
Yeah,
If the voice will be on that?
Yes.
That'll be wonderful.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because our time is almost up.
Okay, this is our
For a living, and for me, it's an art form, and I'm so thankful to be able to do it because
Okay. Now, this is a clip of Paul Gauchi, the master gardener, and he explains why pruning is such a necessary, as we explained before, to cause growth. So let's see if I can run that clip of Paul Gauchi.
I think we're going to have volume this time.
We're going to have volume this time. As soon as it stops, let me do this. I'm getting this ready. You can continue to. Here we go. Here we go. Alrighty.
for a living, and for me, it's an art form, and I'm so thankful to be able to do it because it's a gift that I have, and it's just something that's just so pleasing and so pleasurable. You know, it's interesting that the scripture talks about pruning. There in John 15, Jesus is saying that I am the vine and you are the branches. My Father is the husbandman. He's the one who maintains and cares for it all. And it goes on to say that he prunes the trees for what purpose? So they'll bear more fruit. And I love these things about God because they're so much bigger than I. When I try to figure that out, it makes no sense. If I'm cutting a tree, taking branches off, it would make sense to me from a mathematical point of view. I'm reducing its capacity to bear fruit. But God is saying he prunes so it'll bear more fruit. And it's just this incredible, beautiful illustration of God, how his whole principle is it's in giving you receive. And so with the tree, when you're taking stuff out of it and it's giving of itself, that process develops it and strengthens it and encourages it to produce more fruit. And in my experience, I totally see it. People will come to my orchard here, you know, this time of year, and you can't even walk through it. And they'll come after I pruned it in January, and they say, "What happened to your trees? They're naked. I mean, what did you do to them?" I says, "We'll come back in September. They'll be all touching, you know." And I'm just basically, you know, making room for them to fill in, you know, and they just produce so heavily every year. And it's amazing how much comes out. But they come right back and produce tremendously. And I'm finding, I always tell people, if you want a tree to grow, the most stimulating thing you can do to it is cut it. Cutting it will way surpass fertilizing, watering, anything else. Nothing compares to the effect of pruning.
That's so beautiful.
It is beautiful,
And I
isn't it?
never get tired of listening to him. Do you?
No.
Never, ever, ever. It's the same.
That's what I call him.
Yes. That's why he calls them. My
Yeah.
husband will get on the phone and call Paul. We've threatened to come up there, and we still haven't made it up there.
Squim Washington is where he's
Swim,
at.
that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Squim
swim.
Washington. Yeah.
And the water table is very high.
Very
Yeah,
high,
So
yeah.
it is a good place. And again, but his methods, they cannot be refuted by anyone. I
No.
don't. It's the proof is there. He's put in the work, and as I said before, many people have done documentaries behind him.
Scientists come to check,
Oh, yeah.
ecologists,
Yeah.
biologists come to his farm to see how he's getting so much in abundance. And the secret really is, if you live in an area like that, is wood chips.
Well, and we had wood chips. Wood chips, I never knocked them. They were like, they don't work. They do work. The only
do.
problem we had is that we live in an HOA neighborhood,
Yes.
and everybody is afraid of everything. If one wood chip they think is going to blow, which my husband has proven to them that they didn't blow. But then the other thing is that our property line is so close that certain pests love wood chips,
Yeah,
like
they do.
ants and things of that nature. And we just didn't want to have a problem with a problem on top of a problem. But the wood chipping, we still do it in bins.
Right, we do.
We do. We have wood chips. He has containers that are, you can see them right behind me actually, and they're filled with condensing wood chips. So we do use those in our garden beds. You just have to restructure what you're doing in an urban neighborhood to make sure that it fits with the HOA,
Right.
with appearance, with everything else. So wood chips just being on the ground was not something feasible for us, and we had to opt with a different method. But his wood chips work.
But we sure tried.
Yes, we did. We did. And we're going to be able to say this one thing. No matter what you do with a garden, you're going to always grow if you're seeking information.
Right.
You know, truly, that scripture, seek and you shall find.
Right.
Knock and the door shall be open,
open,
and
right.
ask and it shall be given. We're never stopping seeking. We're never going to stop seeking and asking,
Right.
because that's how we find. And we get better and better every year, I believe.
Yeah, and Joshua said, you want these things in abundance, but if you don't ask, you're not gonna get it. He said, you have not because you ask not.
Right.
See, so
Right.
this is something we're always asking when we're in
For
the
the
Garden
wisdom.
of Eden.
Yes.
For the wisdom. And by the way, our Garden of Eden is the prototype to South Africa, where we will be living.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we're learning now, and we're going to bring you more for that. But we are taking on every technique, everything that we need to know. We've been gardeners for the last, 15 years. Even though he gardened at his parents' house when he was a child, and so did I. But as together as a couple, at least the last 15 to 16 years, we've been
Yes.
gardening.
Yeah.
And we've advanced so much from where that we came from, and we're still learning, and we are
All the
on a
time.
mission of always learning. But
All the
now
time.
we're looking at the climate, everything that's going on there, how we could apply the methodologies that we've learned. And we just want you guys to know that whatever age you are, whatever your disabilities are, your handicaps, make those your strengths.
Yes.
There is no mission that is impossible. And we can do all things through Joshua, who gives us the
Give the
strength.
strength.
Yes,
And I still got my favorite saying on Shawshank Redemption.
that's right.
And when the actor Andy Dufresne was talking to Morgan Freeman, and Andy Dufresne was about to ready to escape prison, he told Morgan Freeman, "Get busy living or get busy dying, but you can't do both."
That's right. I love it.
All right.
Stay tuned for our next episode. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and always come back, make comments. We would love to see what you're thinking. If there's anything on your mind that you want us to talk about, just make sure you make that comment. Please take care.
Thank you very much, guys.
We'll see you soon.
See you soon.